I'll walk you through just a few of the depraved and evil shenanigans of Hillary Clinton as a partner and supposed alternative to Trump eating. Let's begin by revisiting my father's obituary. Wesley Pardsvar was then Chancellor of the University of Pittsburgh, which is called PITT, which when you see it from geographics is right next to CMU, which has on-campus defense semi-autonomous unit that reflects St. Paul's Cathedral in its windows. So CMU is an encryption by Bush era Cold Warriors for Church Military Union. So Church Military Union and Pit of Hell is where they stashed the letters of Gail Carolyn Burston, written by Ronald Reagan's support operation, the Democratic Party, and with his knowledge and assistance after killing JFK, also known as the Texas School Book, a map into the origin of AIDS that elaborated the plan of Two Virgins Pussy Ball that we find encrypted in Axis media that led to Mount Desert Island. And while I was trying to get help from perverts like Penis Gabriel, he was advocating for a gang making songs like Flame Over Africa. So Pardsvar was a constitution writer for the Federal Emergency Management Agency. His attorneys from Pentagon Disney were working with Schulman, claiming who was busted for a multi-million-dollar museum heist. I was driven out of town for what they called starting rumors about him after his gang tortured me. Ming-No Wen, Penis Gabriel were working his alibi system and setting me up as the child of a humanist. And the FBI was doing one of these, oh, licky chops wink, because the NAACP had set it up as pussy ball that was going to promote Obama. So leadership is strategy, you might call it, if you're reading Richard's book. So Pentagon Disney attorneys for the Federal Emergency Management Agency have a deaf neurotrauma child in their vivisection laboratories laughing when he said, don't use monkeys for things that are terrible. Okay. So John Erlin and his partner Donald Merlin is who I'm thinking of, Erlin of the, magic, folk, medical history stuff, magic, the witchcraft that predated doctors in medical history. He's doing this stuff with his fingers and talking about a Heinz. Heinz, by the way, is sacred, the honorary, the African warrior we know from Dr. Proctor. A Heinz nutrition lab for millions of dollars that got refused. And my father checks in with a loss of appetite, right on cue. Nutrition, forget nutrition. Appetite, forget appetite. And he drops dead. Some leaves a SOS about the riddle of the Sphinx and what should happen, but somebody scribbles. Somebody working with Jerry Patterson downtown, Mike McGuff was playing the lullabies for John Schulman, giving Schulman the thumbs up. We're going to get that Jimmy Queerbait for Reagan and Tim Kaine. So they scribble on Daddy's obituary about injecting parochial values, none of this liberal humanism stuff, and sign a don't know who in the greening of the German Green Party. Now, my father wouldn't even fly through German aerospace. He was so indignant. My brother is Jewish. And what he had to fight in World War II. Well, that don't know who is no who done it. And they established this argument about parochial, the legendary parochial argument about the moral superiority of the Axis because of Neva Pornopeep, the Jewish Holocaust survivor, say is Murderlicky Chomsky, Noah Chomsky, Chomsky. Now, where do you get these synonyms? From Leslie Katz. She would go out into the woods with Amy Shapiro and yell, "We're going to rape, kill, pillage, and burn, going to rape, kill, pillage, burn, and eat babies." And Mike McGuff burned me for saying, well, how outspoken the Pussy Rioters are. Well, it turns out that these people were KGB assets. They want to make people abandon caution and become reckless and call that rebellion against the dictators. I said to Mike McGuff, well, if somebody were to say something like about and he was like, oh, Crary's the one who's eating the baby. That was Leslie Katz who used to say that. They wouldn't let me, they couldn't get me to do it because it was too out of. I'm a dignified person. Leslie Katz was the virgin that proved that virginity is rape, by the way. She was the one working with Schulman, Penis Gabriel, and that justified theft of the Texas school book. So here we begin to see some of the things that were in the medical library's locked room, as they call it, which a Berm sergeant told me was a closet filled with Erica John books and so forth. So we know now also that Will L. Berm, who extolled Goebbels, sent pictures of Goebbels, talked about how wonderful and fascinating Goebbels was not only a Heinz honorary, the African warrior, but a leader of the Jewish Defense League. He was the one who helped Leslie Katz, and I even advised Wilkinsburg Police right across the street from where Shulman, O'Connor, Flynn, Construction, Mignal Wings gang were selling those books. I'm almost positive to British. A couple British guys showed up in that dark, concrete-bound laden facility. And I went over to the Wilkinsburg Police and I said, you should really check out this strange letter about Leslie Katz from Will L. Berm. They may still have it, they may not, I don't know. But Will Zell was Goebbels' leader of the sacred, the honorary quest to prove that virginity was rape for the pornography genocidalists. And the licky chops from the NAACP were making the porno and then delivering letters of distress to Kennedys with the murder of two more Kennedys. This is how Tacoma operated and Jay Inslee operated in the matter. Well, as it turns out, what seems to have really been going on is that the Pitt administration murdered senior faculty, and to weasel out of paying damages to his child who was kidnapped, tortured, and impacted with a nerve agent by an Israeli named Wattenmaker from Attica State Prison, who's in their neurobehavioral research department. They slapped 5 at the Shulman heisted special collection $1 million book barbershop with Tony Levin and Penis Gabriel. And they slapped 5 and said, Queer Boy is in a conversation. And in this conversation, if he takes so much as a penny, we get to inject him with HIV. And this is how the Pitt administration operates their so-called nature of reality. And this is supposedly saying, keeping in mind the penis was bringing in Senegalese session men to do yada, 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 yada in favor of Todd Clark and Flame Over Africa, and a picture that no matter what Yoko Ono does, no matter how many more children she kills, no matter how many things she does, I'm not going to show because it's too sickening. I'm not a deranged, disease pervert. from Seattle, Washington. But I have it here if the pigs ever want to do their job. I'll show you what they rubbed in my face, those Todd Clark people, when I was hostage to them as a child. And Michael Reagan can get a gratuity. He can get his favorite scene some more.